Hey there, guys, and welcome to episode 3 of the Reds of Steel City podcast. My name is Josh, and once again, I am joined by a few special guests. Today, we have Julian. How are you, mate?
Good, thank you. And yourself?
Yeah, very good, mate. We have Steve. How are you, mate?
Yeah, good, mate. A little jet lagged, but I'm here.
Yes, we'll get to your travels during the show. And our final guest is obviously Ben. How are you, mate?
Hello, all non-Reds.
Unfortunately, Ray can't be with us. I think he's in a meeting with Klopp at the moment, with the Mbappe 20 going strong.
It's been there for 3 days.
For 3 days, yeah, that's it. Flew to America the other day, I think.
Yep.
So, on today's episode, we're going to talk very briefly about the new terms of Philip Coutinho coming to Liverpool. And then obviously we'll move into the Adam Lallana role that apparently Klopp set out for him. Moving on to Virgil van Dijk as our player profile, and then we will get into previous results and upcoming fixtures for the Reds in America. So lads, obviously Philip Coutinho, it's been a back and forth. He wants to come, he doesn't want to come. Manager and agents and Christ knows what's all involved. I think the latest is what, two-year loan spell.
Two-year loan spell, and then if they want him to buy, I think Barca offered 88 million. Ridiculous. They still owe us money, so they owe us money when if we do buy him for 88, another 30 mil, I think it is, something like that. So yes. So good luck with that.
Yeah.
Look, it's interesting. We touched on it a lot last week about will he come? Do we want him back? Do we not? Again, 2-year loan deal. Well, you can't go wrong with a 2-year loan deal for a player we've had before. And if we don't want to buy him, well, okay, see you later. So how old's Coutinho now? And how old will he be in 2 years? I think they're probably the numbers you'd have to look at.
That's it.
Then make a decision.
27
now?
Yep.
So what? He'd be coming into... He'd be playing for us in his prime.
Yeah, so he just turned 27, so yeah.
Yeah. So, again, we had our thoughts last week on where he sits, but the loan deal actually is probably the safest option for us because we got nothing to lose except some wages. And if he's still a Barca player, I assume the clauses still kick in that they'd have to pay us the rest of our fee, just with how that was structured. But again, that's probably something we need to look into more deeply.
I'm pretty sure they're trying to get out of that by...
I think that's if they sell him this season.
Yeah, that's right.
If he's on loan, it might not.
Could be.
I think still a Barca player.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Ben and I actually were talking about this the other day. Barcelona's expense debt that they've got
God, it's astronomical.
Yeah, that they've got themselves into, and I think Ben and I were saying, was it 3 years, Ben? They've got to get themselves out of it, maybe 2.
Yeah, I think it's more like. I think it was down to about 1.
Down to 1 now, is it? They got to get. Yeah, so
they've got about a year to balance the books.
Yeah, so they've got to sell a lot of players and. Obviously, they've got to start looking at youth, obviously, and unfortunately for them, there's not much talent that's in the sort of the age facility of your Coutinhos, Suarez and Messi and all that are all at the latter years of their life, of their career. Sorry, so they're not going to get big money.
No, and it's interesting because Barca's youth system is. In its worst state that it's probably ever been. None of the coaches there are, Barcelona, have come up through the system either. So unfortunately, on the surface, it looks like it's all good, but it's probably in a little bit of a shambles. And then they're throwing money out like they're Real Madrid rather than doing the old Barcelona way. So. Yeah. Very, very interesting. And then you look at a club like Atletico Madrid that are probably doing it the right way and have probably won the transfer window. with some of the business they've done recently. So,
Yeah, Trippier this morning.
yeah, I saw that. So that was an interesting move from him. But I think he did say at the end of last season he was probably going to leave Tottenham. So there you go.
Yeah, look, it's going to be interesting. Obviously, as you said, Atletico, I think, are definitely leading at the moment. Juventus can easily win the transfer race with the few signings that they've got and that they're looking at bringing in and so forth. But obviously, time will tell. And at the end of the day, who cares? It's not it's not our concern. And
no.
To be fair, there's only probably with the transfer. I think we still need those replacement. Well, one replacement really for Mr. Robinson there. So that's where I see our transfer need.
Yeah.
It all depends, Julian. I think on how well the two youth players playing at left back. I think which we'll touch on shortly when we get onto the games that have just happened. Because there's been some exciting stuff there, but obviously not Premier League level, but. Some bright sparks that you could say, well, he might be able to do a job, to come on as a sub or play some youth games in that left back role. But I guess we'll get to that shortly.
Yeah. So pretty much, I don't think transfer wise, I don't think Klopp's going to go in and spend big bucks for the remainder of the transfer window. If he has to bring in someone to fill that spot, I don't see it being a big name player or anything like that. It'll be someone obviously who is relatively young and has got a bit of experience. I'd hope in the Premier League, I think, would be a good place to pick up someone young to sort of, just in case obviously Robinson gets injured or whatever it is. So, but look, I think we're pretty much right. You know what I mean? We don't need anybody. I don't think with what we've seen. As you said, what we've seen with the two fixtures already, which we will get into, but so
no, the only argument you could say is just deepening that bench in terms of similar to what City have done, where there's quality players coming off the bench, and I'm not saying we don't have that, but pound for pound we can't match them in terms of squad rotation, and maybe that is what let us down. Maybe last year in the cup games and things like that, we just didn't have the squad rotation and the ability. If you tell me, hey, we're going to have Sergio Aguero play up front, and then at halftime we're going to have Gabriel Jesus come on, and a player who's just going to be able to produce just as many goals, and still do a good job. Well, I think maybe that's probably. I think our starting lineup's tight. You could do the argument of another, a main centre back to partner Van Dijk, because I honestly don't believe out of the other three centre backs, none of them have stayed. You could maybe argue Matip because he's had a great end of the season, but really that spot is up for grabs for anyone.
Yep.
If Matip has a bad game, all right, you're out. Gomez, you're in. Or Lovren, you're. All right, you play good for these 3 games. Beautiful. You keep your spot.
Yeah.
And then someone picks up an injury or someone falls out of form. Well, it's the next person's go. So.
That's it. Yeah. Look, as I said, talking obviously positions and so forth. We'll move into. We will stay with you, Steve, and talk about Lallana and his newfound role that Klopp has plans for. Thoughts on it?
Yeah. Well. It's very reminiscent of what Rodgers did with Gerrard. Now, I'm not, comparing Lallana to Gerrard in terms of quality, and even they weren't even that much of a similar player in terms of what they offered. They were, a bit completely different, but they were both, quite attacking and in ball-playing midfielders, whereas, Gerrard got older and Rodgers, I think, we'll touch on that quickly, but Rodgers, when he dropped Gerrard back, it was probably the right thing. Stevie didn't have the legs towards the end. He could still, produce his magic. He could still score long-range efforts, and he could still pick a pass. And maybe that's where Lallana's going as well, because if we can... I guess he doesn't have the legs anymore. He keeps getting injured. He's not durable. But if he can sit deep and play a ball out, well, maybe that's the way to go, and play more of a deeper role. Lallana originally started as a right midfielder at Southampton, actually at Bournemouth and Southampton, and then kind of came into a number 10 role. And then at Liverpool, he could sort of play wherever. And he played in more of an advanced role for us. So as he's getting older and probably less durable, as we can see, because I don't think he's finished a full season for us yet without picking up an injury.
He's got the mentality. If he stays back, if they put him in the back position, that the vision he would see as he played a few cup games and all, he was pretty good,
Yeah.
That level there. So as you said, with looking at it, is almost like that Steven Gerrard thing, but. Yeah, I think he's nearly finished, unfortunately.
Yeah, look, there was an argument. I saw a couple of articles, after our last two friendly games, saying is Lallana done? Maybe he's not up to the level or the quality anymore. That's always rough in pre-season, especially coming off some injuries. But in saying that, if there's a way to prolong a player's career, how does that work? Similar, actually, to Mascherano when he went to Barcelona, he kind of dropped out of that defensive midfielder role and then fell back into a centre back role. So you see players do it all the time. As they get older, their positions slightly change, and it may, it may reinvent his career and it may give him the boost that he needs. And then he might be able to go, okay, I found my spot now, and this is where I am, and this is how I'm going to push on.
Yeah, look, obviously his injuries haven't done him justice, but you've got to look at it where where he was before he came to Liverpool. He was obviously in a class of his own there at the top of one of the top players.
Yeah, that's right.
And obviously come to Liverpool, and at the time he came to Liverpool, we didn't have the squad we have right now, and so to say he's past it, I don't think it's the case. I just think the quality and the quality of players we're getting now into the club is just making it harder for players.
And his calibre, yeah.
Exactly right, you know what I mean? Not saying there's anything wrong with him. He's an international and you can't take that away from him, and he was international for a reason. He's a very good player on his day. Unfortunately, we're growing, and not just him, some of the players in the squad they can't keep up, unfortunately. And you obviously Mourinho leaving, and Sturridge is now gone, and so forth. So unfortunately, people will have to go because they can't keep up, and we need to get as much money as we can for them. There's no point of holding on to something.
Well, that's what these pre-season games are for.
Well, that's exactly right.
To see the level, their fitness, see where they're at. They want to put in a good performance, obviously. Hopefully none of them get injured, and then move on from there. So they can say, I've done enough. Let's see if the boss picks me. Hopefully he does.
Yeah.
And so be it.
Well, that's exactly right. It gives these players a chance to stake their claim. And someone like Lallana of Klopp, and I think we had this discussion, was it last week or a few weeks ago, actually, about Camacho, who complained about playing right back when he wanted to play further forward. Yeah. And one of us turned around and said, well, if Klopp told me to play in that position, I'm going to do it. If the gaffer told me I'm going to go and play that, especially if it's for Liverpool, I'm going to do it.
Hell yeah.
And if it means I'm going to get some more game time,
why not?
And look, Lallana's another player that plays with his heart and his sleeve. He plays with passion, and he runs up, for the club and does what he does. So he's a player that I think will go, okay, Klopp, you want me to play more a deeper role? Okay, I'm going to do that, and we're going to see how this works. And look, these preseason games are always good. If a player knows he's on his last legs at the club, they're still going to play as well as they can, either to fight for their place or to boost their chances of getting picked up by another good club.
I dare say he will surprise us all this season.
He's got the mentality. That's the big thing. I've always
found him a good player. I like the bloke, and to say Okay,
Well,
I
is he on
said,
your speed dial list too?
he is on my speed dial list. I've called. Sorry, hang on one second. I've got him here.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
Exclusive, guys. We've got an exclusive. Adam Lallana.
He just said, just plug me more, please. Anyway,
Okay, we can do that.
So
yeah.
if he pushes hard, I dare say it'll be more games than we think.
Yeah, look, and I think if it comes back to the idea of we want to push for more titles, more cups, playing more games, we're going to need a thick squad. We're going to need a squad with a lot of players, and people are going to need a rest. Klopp loves his midfield rotation. Last year, you couldn't work out who his best midfield was. At one point, it didn't include Jordan Henderson, and then it did include Jordan Henderson. Then Fabinho was out, and everyone goes, "Oh, you know what? Maybe Fabinho's not the right player." And then Fabinho had a great spell, and so it's going to be
I just think
season.
any player put in, they just played awesome. Just whoever played on the day was, very rarely we had that lull.
Yeah.
No, and you may have one player that may have an off game, and then next game we're going to try this player in that spot and see how that works. Unfortunately for Lallana, he was injured. So this is, I think, pre-season will probably be make or break. But in saying that, I don't think he'll go. There were rumours linking into Southampton earlier, just at the start of the window. He did kind of squash those though and said, "I'm not ready to go back." He said he'd love to finish his career there, but not yet. He feels like he's got unfinished business at Liverpool, which is always good to hear, because if a player's willing to fight, I want them at my club. If you're going to fight for your place, you're going to fight for the club, you deserve to be on the team. You deserve to be in the squad. And if you've got the quality, and we've seen that, we've seen Lallana score goals, we've seen Lallana assist, we know what he's all about. So I'm hopeful for his new deeper role if it does work out.
Yeah. I personally think what everyone sees at the moment is what it's going to be. I don't see many more players leaving. Obviously, there's not going to be many coming in either, but I think he's got this season to stay injury. If he stays injury free, he'll, as Julian said, he'll definitely get games. The amount of games we've got this season, there's no way he's not going to feature in any of the games.
Correct.
How many? No, time will tell. But
we've also got the Club World Cup that we've got to consider as well.
Yeah.
So again, that's even probably some more games.
And there's going to be injuries. You know what I mean? His number one priority is for him to stay injury free, not worry about anyone else. You know what I mean? Like, if people pick up injuries, obviously, I think it's Caters obviously struggling at the moment. You've got Shaqiri, who's not, 100%. So obviously, some of these players drop. Obviously, they've got to fill the void somewhere. And obviously, if he's going to fight, as Steve said, if he's willing to fight for the spot, well, I don't think Klopp's not going to not give him that chance.
He's not going to not notice. So.
And let's remember when Klopp first came to the club, Lallana was one of the players. I remember, I think it was the first game against Spurs, where Lallana basically fell onto Klopp when he was subbed off. He was so exhausted, but he just
gave it all. Yeah,
he gave it his all. So I think it's not like Klopp looks at Lallana and goes, "Okay, you're a player I have, and you're not." Sometimes when a manager comes in, they've got players that aren't really their players, and they don't really care for them, and see you later. But the fact that he's kept Lallana this long probably shows to me that he's got a level of care factor, and you're a player that when you're fit, you do a job that I like, and you're a player I like on my squad in terms of you'll be able to do a job for me. So there's going to be opportunities, and this season I think that there's going to be opportunities, and Klopp knows that there's going to be fringe players that are going to get the chances. And the fact that we saw Sturridge and Moreno go, no contracts offered. It wasn't about the money. It was more about, okay, you don't fit anymore. Go do what you want to do. And then we'll, if we have to bring in, we'll have to bring in. And if not, we'll work with what we've got at the club.
Yeah, 100%. And as I said, I hope he has a good season. And obviously, time will tell. That's pretty much the end story.
I'll tell him that from him.
Yeah. Sorry, mate. Thanks. Yeah, if you could kindly let me know.
Will do.
Really quickly, obviously, I read today. I'm not sure if you guys have or not. You were just talking about Sturridge and obviously being able to go. I'm very surprised that he has not picked up a club. Nobody has come in for him.
Yeah.
He's just copped, apparently, a 6-week ban that possibly could turn into 6 months.
What for?
Apparently, he was...
Sharing betting results.
That's it, yeah, Ben, I was talking to you about it, weren't you? So, what was the go? That was his brother. He was telling his brother to bet on...
He was giving his brother insider information about games that he was in, and his brother was betting on them.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
And then there was a possible one or something with him, a possible move of him to Seville or something like that.
Yeah.
Actually, I did hear about... I heard rumblings of that a couple of months ago, and then it all kind of went away, and okay.
So it was nothing about his dog.
No.
Which...
Right. That could have
It's
been a
been
ransom
found.
for the... yes, it has been found. That could have been the situation then for the betting. So someone stole his dog. He needed a bit of money. Yeah.
Maybe he owed a loan shark.
Probably, yeah.
That's it. So, obviously, we will move on to our player of the week. We're going to dissect probably my opinion, the player of the year. Yeah, player of the year. For little.
Ballon d'Or!
Are we all talking about Lovren? Is that who?
Yeah, that's
right.
where we're going. That's where we're going.
Here we go.
Ben's favourite. Ben loves Lovren.
Yeah. I don't mind Lovren. I just prefer the Dutch Lovren.
That's it.
Yes,
all right, guys, we're talking about VVD.
That's
The world's best.
the world's best.
I was about to say, don't say VVD again. It sounds like a disease.
Look, as I said, what can you say? Unbelievable season.
What can I say? He's got to cut that fucking ponytail.
Oh, easy.
Say it to his face.
Yeah. Probably,
You know what? Ben
He's almost
probably
got a-
would.
Josh knows I would.
He probably would.
would.
He probably would. It'd be a matchup of the foreheads, I reckon.
Yeah. Josh has seen me say much worse to a one Thomas Sorensen.
Yes.
Ooh, yes.
I'm surprised he stood there and copped it. Like, looked dead at him and just...
Yeah, I was surprised he didn't jump across the thing and belted me.
Just looked at Ben and just shook his head and just kept walking. I was like, good on you, champ. Just absolutely gave him a massive spray and just walked off like it was nothing. I'm like, mate, someone give him a tissue later when he walks in the shed. He's going to cry or something.
Well, he didn't come back out and warm up again in the second half, so job done. Anyway, I digress.
But yeah.
Guys, we definitely, all the listeners, we definitely don't pick on every football player we meet.
No, we don't.
Everyone's got a favourite they pick on, though. Everyone. I guarantee it. Put that down in the comments. Everyone out there.
What? Everyone has a favourite they pick on.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
at least one,
okay.
if not 20 or 30.
Gabby the bong whore.
God.
That's because you hate Aston Villa.
Yeah, it is, and it's the only team. And scoring against us is the only thing you can ever fucking do in a Vile shirt.
What about Simon Mignolet? No.
If I have to choose a Liverpool player, yeah.
All right. Let's get back to it.
Anyway, we'll talk about Virgil van Dijk. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, obviously, well, let's get Ben's point of view. Obviously, he's not a Liverpool fan. Obviously, doesn't mind watching the Reds when they're winning, like all of us.
All right, all.
What are your thoughts, mate? I'll put this question to you, mate. Was he the buy of the season?
Coming from the Prem, yeah, I dare say it was well worth the money paid, and repaid it back in spades.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, sort of shrewd buy. Everyone was raising eyebrows about the fee and how high the fee was, especially for a from a player coming from England from a lower-ish side. So
Yeah.
eyebrows would have been raised. But again, £75 million bargain.
Yeah.
Bargain.
Obviously, they did their homework. big time. So they knew what they were getting themselves.
The Liverpool scout who works at Southampton.
That's right. Yeah,
yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's right. The covert agent.
Yeah. We paying well.
Great deal for all.
And even it was even good for Celtic because they profited 10% off that
Correct.
75 million.
Yeah, that was a great bit of business. I think Celtic knew exactly what they were when they sold him.
Yeah.
Right up until they found out he was training at Rangers pre-season.
That's a bit of a sore point.
Yeah. He's got to keep fit, mate. That's all he was doing. Gerrard said, "Come and keep fit, mate." So yeah, look, it's gonna be hard. He's gonna have a hard season, topping last year. But again, I think he's well and truly capable of doing that.
Yeah.
He's just a great leader. You know what I mean? For me, he's just. Is anyone actually off Virgil van Dijk real quickly? Has anyone got Henderson's exact age?
Henderson.
Yeah, I'm
I think
intrigued.
he's 27.
27.
I was going to say 20. I thought he was 28, but yeah, close.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, because I knew they were sort of the same age. Because I was just like
29.
Oh, there we go.
There you go. Yeah, only saying that just because obviously we were talking a little bit just before. Obviously, Henderson, he missed. He didn't miss. He spent a lot more time than I was expecting on the bench.
Yes.
For a captain.
Yeah.
Not saying that obviously they're going to relinquish the captaincy and give it to Virgil van Dijk or anything like that, but for me, Virgil van Dijk was that captain last season. You know what I mean? Like nothing, no disrespect to Henderson. He does a great job year in, year out, even though I wasn't the greatest of fans when he was given it. I thought there might have been other players that deserved it. But anyway, Virgil van Dijk, he's just a leader. He's just an unbelievable... He's so comfortable in the back line. Obviously, being a professional athlete, you have to be. But he just makes everything look so easy. Just so, every time... Obviously, we've seen past defenders or whatever skittish and, oh shit, what's going to happen here? Where's the ball going to go? But every time he has that ball at his feet, I've got no care in the world. I know that he's going to hold that ball and it's going, 100%.
I think for saying that, I think for a lot of Liverpool fans, they felt the same way.
Yeah.
They had that initial, say, maybe first 5-6 games or whatever it was. They're going, oh my God. And then slowly, that's it. He got everyone on the side and the confidence of the fans were just unbelievable.
Yeah.
So
I think it's always an interesting thing. The relationship between centre backs and the goalkeeper is, if you don't trust your goalkeeper, the centre backs are usually skittish, and probably vice versa. If the goalkeeper doesn't trust his centre backs, again, he's also a little bit skittish with his ball at his feet and what he's doing. And that's probably been Liverpool's biggest problem. You even look back at the days of Daniel Agger and Martin Skirtle teaming up in the back line. Great defenders.
Just the few keepers.
But it was a little bit skittish at times. Jamie Carragher wasn't always the most solid or reliable. He was a hothead and he made errors. Does he still hold the record for most own goals?
I thought he'd be close.
Yeah, I think he's close. So, there probably hasn't been a defender probably since Sammy Hurpia.
Oh God! Now we're going back.
Well, now we're going back. So that was really cool, calm, and collected, and that was a great partnership.
Jamie Carragher is currently third
for own goals. There you go.
Uh-huh.
Who's first?
May as well.
Richard Dunn.
There you go.
That explains a lot.
So I guess that's my thought. So I think you've got a cool, calming presence there, and then you've got Van Dijk, who trusts his goalkeeper. And I think there was probably a hand in. They sort of go hand in hand. We've got such a world-class goalkeeper who is cool, calm, and collected, and then you've got a centre back that oozes that. So the rest of the team are comfortable. The rest of the team feels safe.
Yeah.
Whereas I dare say even we had Mignolet in goals or you could see it was a bit nervy with the centre backs.
Yeah.
To the point where the commentators are making mention of things like that during games. And then all of a sudden you pick up Alisson, and then it lifts the team, and you've got Virgil van Dijk, who's this big commanding presence. He's cool and calm on the ball. Great bit of business, and I remember watching those Man City YouTube videos they released last year. It was kind of like a vlog, and they were talking about Virgil when he just before he made the switch to Liverpool, or just after, and they were kicking themselves because they didn't pay the money, and they turned around, and I think Pep said it in one of the videos. He basically just said, "Well, I think he turned around and said, "Oh, we're not paying that sort of money for him. We'll let him go." And they're definitely regretting that now. So, definitely one of the reasons why we went to the Champions League final the year before, and definitely one of the reasons why we won it last year, and one of the reasons why we pushed City so far. Look at we conceded. How many goals did we concede in the Premier League? Was that something like 19?
Yeah, it sounds about it's close. Yeah,
so again, it's one of those things. When was the last time Liverpool conceded 19 goals in a league season?
Shit.
Yeah.
So that just speaks volumes. And then Van Dijk was the first PFA centre back winner since John Terry?
Yeah, it was Terry or Lampard. One of the
two. In the early. Cahill. It was someone. I think it was John Terry.
John Terry sounds right.
In the early 2000s or mid 2000s.
Yeah. Look, it's going to be. I think the biggest advantage and the best thing we get out of Virgil van Dijk, other than him on the pitch, what he does off the pitch as well, and what he's going to bring to all these, obviously Vandenberg that's come in, obviously the few other young guys and the academy players and that are around. All these young blokes that are going to play alongside him, or you would hope, obviously, in the rest of the friendlies and so forth that we've still got to come. It's just going to ooze confidence for them. You know what I mean? Who wouldn't want to play somewhere on that pitch with the likes of, the class we've got in goals and obviously the back line. Pretty much the best back line in the world of football at the moment, as far as I'm concerned. So, just to be on the pitch, you got to be happy. And come January, I'd say, when we probably may look at picking up somebody else, it just makes it easier. It's good. It's good to have, as a Liverpool fan, it's good to know that we can go into the transfer window and virtually get whoever we want.
Correct.
Obviously, except for your Neymars and stuff like that. But any middle, in their mid-20s player or whatever who's playing decent football at any club, we can have them if we want them, and majority of those players will come to Liverpool for who is at the club at the moment.
That's right. They're the selling point now. They're the players. I remember a few years ago, they just sent Gerrard in to try and bring players across.
Yeah.
And he was sort of our covert agent that would go and talk to the player and see if he could convince him to come to the club. Whereas now, you just roll out the first team squad and go, do you want to play with these guys, really? Do you want to play with the best goalkeeper in the world? Okay, we've got that. Do you want to play with the best centre-back in the world? We got that. Look at our fullbacks. They're arguably the two best left and right backs in the world. And then you talk about, Mo Salah and Sadio Mane. Well, there are players here that, are elite level and arguably play on another planet most of the time. So, it's going to be exciting. I think Van Dijk might fall into a bit of a Alisson Becker issue, as we were talking about it a few weeks ago, where how does he top the performances he's already had? Because it's now just going to be expected. Which isn't a bad thing, because then the hype settles down and it's more okay. Now I'm down to business. And Van Dijk's a pretty no nonsense sort of guy, and he's a true leader. He's an organizer as a centre back. He talks. He organises his players. So it is great, and I think what makes a great club and great teams, you've got your captain, but you've also got other leaders in the dressing room. And look, I've heard Henderson talk in post-match interviews all throughout last season, and I thought you've got the captain's mentality, but then to have other leaders along there with James Milner as another figurehead who Klopp definitely leans on, and I think he praised his ability to talk and pre-match talk, things like that. And then you've got someone like Van Dijk as well. They're respected players as well, and they're leaders. So there's a lot of people that players can look up to and go to. And if they need a bit of inspiration or a bit of getting, you need to get going. Okay, you need a bit of go. Okay, Virg will pump you up, and all right, let's go. This is what we've got to do. And when the game gets tough, if there's a gritty game, they're the players that will step up and grab it by the scruff of the neck and go, okay, I'm here, let's do it. So that's how I look at him. He's been a great asset and a great buy. And for the world's most expensive defender, it probably doesn't do him justice. And for the fact that could be broken this week by Harry Maguire, we've all seen him and know what he's about, and I don't think he'll be able to do what Van Dijk's done. So
nowhere near it.
Yeah, so I guess that's my thoughts on him. I give him.
Good luck for him.
He's I'll give him a 10 out of 10 for last season. Couldn't fault him.
Yeah. Look, I think pretty much just to wrap him up. I don't think he has to prove himself. I don't think any Liverpool fan will be expecting him to do better next season. As you said, you've just given him a 10 out of 10. You can't get any better than that.
He'll just do his job as usual.
And that's
as simple as that.
That's it. No one's going to criticise him. No one's going to say anything about him unless he starts making major mistakes, where I don't see that happening. Not at 28.
No.
He's right in his prime at the moment, and I'd say we've probably got a good 2 to 3 years left of watching him just dominate the back line, which is going to be great to see.
He'll probably have a good 4 years. Centre backs usually play into their 30s fairly well.
Yeah.
And he's big enough that he doesn't get beaten now because he's quick, but he's also strong. So he also positions Van Dijk's positioning is probably what sets him apart, which a lot of people don't realise. Like, okay, he's fast, and we've seen him chase players down or run alongside players so they don't get past him.
But he's got the vision that he has,
and the positional ability to go, okay, I need to be here, and then I can collect this ball, and move it forward or play it here. Or
it's like you saw it in the Barca games.
I was going to say, was that it? Where he stopped?
Where he just stopped pretty much nearly all of them. Bar obviously their goals, but the few Neymar ones. The Messi one comes to mind, and that's what he's about. Just all that.
Yeah. So obviously, hopefully. Every Reds fan out there is hoping he has another great season. I don't see why he wouldn't. He's as long as he stays fit, he's going to be sweet. So
definitely.
Anyway, moving on. We're going to jump to Ben, obviously, Mr. Stats.
Oh, really? Now?
And you're up.
Can you give me just a sec?
Mate, I don't need to give you a sec. I know you've got it all there. So we'll talk about...
No, I know I've got it all there. I'm just trying to organise something before my phone dies.
We'll talk about, obviously, the 2 games that have been played and then go into, obviously, the last couple that are coming up in the next few days. Obviously, the first one against Tranmere.
Tranmere, hey?
6-0?
Yeah, 6-0. The Tranmere obviously didn't, again, look, it's a hard thing to say. What do you say? They're not the best team in the world, and local rivalry. It was good just to obviously get... It was much more for the fans, I think, that would have...
Yeah.
Wouldn't have been really worried about the scoreline. The Tranmere fans knew would have known what was coming. And
well, I think we play this fixture yearly, don't we?
Yeah, exactly right. It is just a local charity dub. I think they give a lot of charity for the game and stuff like that over there. But
a couple of youngsters played, so bleed them in. That's all it's all about.
Exactly.
Yeah,
right.
definitely.
Okay,
Got the stats, mate?
Oh, I've had the stats up. Sorry, my uncle in the UK just messaged me going, "Hey, I'm speaking to my friend who works at Birmingham City. If you want your kits, I can get them for you for nothing from last season. How many do you want and what size?" So
I'm not a Birmingham fan, but if you've just stated that you can get them for nothing, I'll take a XL on a home and an away kit.
That's what I said to him. Home and away would be beautiful in a medium. Cheers, blood.
And an extra large.
And he's paying for the postage.
Sweet. So. Oh, well. What do we got, mate?
So,
what are the stats? What were the stats for the game?
Okay, so we'll have a look at general play. So what we've got here is Liverpool leading out the possession with 69% to Tranmere's 31%. Jules won by percentage, 57.4% to Liverpool, 42.6% to Tranmere. Aerial Jules won. This is the only place where, by the looks of things, that you guys lost out. Tranmere winning 64.3% to Liverpool's 35.7%.
Right.
You guys just killed them out on the interceptions with 13-11. They are offside more than you guys with 4-1. And you guys had 4 corners to Tranmere's 1.
Did you have the
result being 6-0?
I think the biggest one I'd like to know, if you've got it there, is obviously because Liverpool being the way they are, and obviously when they get on a roll with like possession, they can string away. Have you got the passes? How many passes each side, mate?
I do. So total passes, it was 343 for Tranmere and 756 for Liverpool.
Yeah. I think that's the one thing. That's to me 6-0. That's it right there.
That shows exactly why it was 6-0.
And what helped with that as well is that your passing accuracy was at 89.9%.
Yeah, right.
And it was 86.3% in the opposition half.
Whoa.
There you go.
Okay.
So, obviously clear winners. Nathaniel Klein, obviously getting on the score sheet. Brewster, absolute weapon, mate. I can't talk highly enough of that young bloke. He's going to be a class player. Scored a double. Curtis Jones got one. Origi got one and Bobby Duncan scored the...
You're missing one.
Klein?
Yes.
Brewster?
We said Klein.
I said him first.
Oh, I didn't realise you said Klein.
That's right. You're too busy looking at your Birmingham kit.
Yeah.
I've seen it.
So, I know, that's all you got to look forward to. I'm sorry.
Another season in the championship.
I'm gonna have something to cry in.
Yeah.
So, guys, obviously...
Something to suck up the tears.
It'll be another long season for them, I'd say.
Right.
So, obviously, we'll talk quickly about the result, guys. What you were expecting?
Another day at the office, really.
Pretty much.
Look, it was great to see. Look, even the squads, the lineups didn't surprise me. I thought it was business as usual. Brewster, look, I actually probably, if you'd asked me who I thought would have scored, I would have probably said Harry Wilson. He would have been a player I would have said would have lit up a little bit more. He had his bright spells. Was unlucky not to get a goal. Had some good link-up play. Brewster, well, what can you say? He was phenomenal. And it was more about his positioning. It was a very, traditional striker's mentality. Follow the ball in, be in the right place and get the goal. And on 2 occasions he did that. What else is there to say? Great to see Bobby Duncan score. I watched him last year when he came over from Man City, being Gerard's cousin. It's good to see him, I guess, kind of following the family footsteps, play for Liverpool and, in his first game for the club on the first team, get a goal. The only sour note was, I guess, the Paul Glatzel injury, who was another player that played alongside Duncan in the reserves.
Yeah,
and they lit it up together. They had a really great partnership. So that was probably the only sour note. And other than that, no complaints about that game really.
Yeah, you're the one play that obviously you excelled the most out of it.
Look, tough when you score six goals.
Yeah, it is.
It is tough. Look, I'd have to give it to Brewster. I was not sold on him. I knew he had the ability, and I've seen him, and he showed some bright sparks in the past. But I wasn't sold, and for him to bounce back from the injury the way he did, and then come out there and commanding with 2 goals, and then obviously go on the next game as well. It just shows, I guess, his mentality, and hopefully he's going to be another gem. Going to come through and push on. I was initially worried when Klopp said, "Hey, I might give Brewster a go now that Sturridge has gone." I kind of went, well, "Okay, we're putting a bit of faith in you." Well, it does fall back on Klopp, but I don't want to get too carried away with him. But it has impressed me. I want to see him score more time getting I want to see him maybe beat 2 or 3 players and score. But other than that, it's he impressed me. And look, a lot of the youth impressed me. Both the players that played left back, Lewis and Larucci, I believe that's how it's pronounced, or Larucci. Both of them impressed me too. I was actually more impressed with Lewis. I thought he was stronger defensively and tracked back a little bit better. And that's probably because Larucci was more of a winger growing up and, has only recently left back at the youth academy. So they're players I don't know too much about, but in saying that, the left back spot, as we sort of touched on last week with Robertson, and previously about do we buy players? Well, maybe that's another position where, well, hey, these 2 players could do, you can bring them on when you got 10 minutes left in a game and we're 3-0 up against, West Brom or whoever it may be. And we're leading 3-0 and there's 10 minutes to play. All right, have a run out, make some good tackles. And then in cup games, well, you're going to start rugby, you're going to get a break. And we're going to go from there. So, I thought it was a great game. Good to watch.
Beautiful. Julian?
Yeah, I think what Steve said, all the youngsters and that, we had, they actually played so well together. It just looked like pretty much the first grade team in that. So, Brewster, what do you say? What can you say?
It's about time.
It's about time, yeah. And Klopp's ready for him to step up. So, and now with what's his name, Wilson coming back, he might be another senior push for him. So I like the kid, and I'm hoping he can step up as well. Just. I don't know, if they do play for the under-23s or whatnot, I just, that squad there was hopefully win their retrospective cups and all that jazz. So, we've got these young kids that are just coming up and they look awesome, So, and I think that's also going to be the future for us. So, and we are just in 4 or 5 years, we're just going to be in a great position if we can keep them. That's the thing. Yeah. But the game, I think pretty much all the goals were scored in the first half. I think it was.
Yeah.
And then obviously,
Well, there you go, even split.
Even split then. But and working with the couple of the senior players there, again, it just looked like they were playing together for a while. So, which is amazing.
Yeah, look, it's one of those things. As I said, and I mean, it's about time. Brewster, as Steve said, and I think he summed it up the best. Is he's an unbelievable talent. I don't think he was showing his full potential. Obviously, last season, again, you can't even sort of justify looking at him playing in the 23s. It's just completely different competition. But he's really stepping up this pre-season, which is good to see. And hopefully he can continue on with the next couple of fixtures still to play. But my I suppose the player for me, Oxlade-Chamberlain. Obviously, as you said, we can talk about the youth. They all done their job, and that's what they were out to do. But Oxlade-Chamberlain, for me, was brilliant. He come back, obviously, from injuries and so forth, and he looked very comfortable out there.
Yeah, very true.
As I think it was Henderson said, with Oxlade-Chamberlain, it's almost they've just signed a new player.
Yes.
So, that's very exciting as well. We've got that, speed, the goal poaching that we saw the first season of him be awesome. So,
brings a nice dynamic.
It does. It just, again, if he doesn't fit in the full squad when the cup games are on, as we said, what have we got? Seven cups we're going for.
Yep.
He will bring something every game. So,
yeah. No, I think it comes back to that conversation we had a few, maybe it was the first podcast or last week, where we just said, we got a lot of our midfielders are very much the same player, whereas Oxlade isn't.
Nowhere
He's
near
that very much number 10, grab the ball, will dribble at players, and he's more going to shoot, going to score, going to take on
from
players.
outside the box.
Yes, from outside the box.
Thank
That's,
you.
Your catch cry, isn't it?
Every
morning
every
at cafe. You're outside the box.
Shoot
There's
outside
a whole
the
shoot.
box. My father always used to say that to me. Shoot from outside the box. Doesn't matter if it goes. You always got to shoot from outside the box and have a go.
Well, it is not a bad principle. If the ball comes off a keeper or comes off a player and it falls to someone else,
That's exactly it.
I think I had that discussion with Ray the other day. But anyway,
moving on.
Mine never said that. I started as a right midfielder, so my job was to cross the ball.
Cross the ball? Yeah, I was a left midfielder.
Outside the box. Mr. Statsman, we will move on to Bradford City. 3-1 result, I believe. Yeah, 3-1 result.
3-1, yep.
What have we got there, mate? What was the possession? Obviously, I think we smacked them in possession, to be fair.
Bear with me just a moment.
I don't think
as comprehensive a stat as I had.
Look, you'll be forgiven.
I can tell you right now, actually, sir.
Oh, there you go. Moving on to a new Statsman. Moving on to a new Statsman.
Who said I was Statsman?
Ben, we're letting you go. And
don't forget to send the shirt.
Go on, Ben.
I was about to say, it's their official website that's not giving it to me. So.
All right, we're throwing some shade now.
I think, only from watching the game, I think the passing and the possession was pretty...
Okay, so the possession that we had was 90% to 74. So we had 899 passes to 267.
Yeah, I don't think the scoreline represented what the game actually was.
No way.
No.
Yeah. So,
it was,
which happens because that's what football is. You look at the stats and you look at the score and it doesn't make sense sometimes. So, and sometimes it does. You look at the Tranmere game and we deserved to win 6-0. And I'm not saying we didn't deserve to win 3-1. We deserved more goals, but 3-1. It sometimes looks like, was it a close game? On face value. But it definitely wasn't. And again, you're starting to see that we're leagues apart.
Yeah.
And it's evident. Bradford aren't anywhere near us. So
I don't even
defending wise, we had 23 tackles each. They won 15 tackles and we won 14 tackles. Their saves were 66%. We had no saves at all.
Because they didn't test us.
I don't even think they had a corner.
No. The only thing was just that penalty. So
there was that penalty.
Yeah.
How did we go in the aerial this time?
Aerials. I don't have that one on here. Sorry.
There was plenty of
Aerial duels. In defence, you won 55.6% to their 44.4.
And look, I'm not going to say it's because Lovren played, but I'm going to say it's because Lovren played.
Okay.
Right, okay. Whatever.
You also committed more fouls than what they did too.
Yep.
I'm not going to say it's because Lovren played, but...
Yeah, so obviously 3-1 result. Milner with a double early on, and I think Bruce got the third one, didn't he? He's
his goal was quite tidy actually. It was from on the right side. I think it was right side, very very fine. So squeeze it through. Yeah, it was.
Your passing percentage in the attacking third, excuse me, dropped off a little bit from that Tranmere game, but your passing in general across the entirety of the field, percentage-wise, was higher.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So it was, and that's probably reflective of the scoreline.
Yep.
You know, to only get 3 goals. One was a penalty from Milner as well.
Yep.
I believe.
Yep.
So the 2 goals from open play, maybe towards the final third, it just wasn't linking up. But you get that in pre-season, a bit of ring rust to try and get back match fit. I believe it was a pretty well unchanged squad from the first game, really.
Pretty much.
Lovren jumped in instead of Matip.
Yep.
And other than that, the starting lineup was the same.
Mm-hmm.
And again, good for Brewster to get a goal.
Yep.
I mean, that's sort of what I said.
Oh, look at that.
Clayton Donaldson was on the bench.
Oh, God. Really?
Sorry, continue. Twat.
There's a little bit of disdain there. Okay, moving on.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, moving on.
Another one to your list, Ben.
There's plenty.
Just ticks them off as he goes. So yeah,
look,
obviously.
Do we want to give Mignolet any for not conceding any goals?
We can do. Yeah,
was he in goals?
He conceded the Tranmere game.
No, he didn't. He was subbed.
Was he playing for when the penalty was taken, or was he off?
No, he was off. It was I can't remember what it was.
One of the youngsters.
Hang on a second.
I can't remember even who it was. Because Duncan...
O'Donnell.
O'Donnell, that's right.
O'Donnell.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Hang on a second, sorry. My apologies.
No.
That was the other one. Hang on a second. Where are
Atherton?
Yeah, it's Atherton.
Was he the guy that came on and played midfield? That was the player we didn't talk about.
That's right, yeah.
Midfield,
he did.
In the Tranmere game.
In the Tranmere game, yeah. He went up forward, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh, far out.
When Glatzel got injured. But,
actually, that's the second time he's done that.
Well, look, it was good to see that he got a chance in goals. Okay, he didn't save a penalty, but that's always a tricky one. So, yeah. Hey, anyway, 2 clean sheets. Is he resurgence in form?
He's coming back.
Going to challenge Allison? No.
Makes it easy when you got a bloody keeper of Allison's calibre coaching you. Yeah, look,
giving you pointers.
Yeah, exactly right. There wasn't many. I wouldn't say there was too many standouts in that game. Personally, I think Milner, just unbelievable. 45 minutes. He's just a freak.
For his age,
just everywhere.
He's a monster.
He just wants the ball. Like he up and down. He was all over the shop. Wilson played a better game. Pardon me, than the first one for me.
Yep.
Brewster, I don't think did anything spectacular, or anything different compared to the first one. He's just very good at getting into the right spaces at the right time, into open play. Every time you look at him, he's waiting for that ball. He's always got a couple of yards on the defender. So he's always going to get that ball. Yeah,
I'll tell you who he reminds me. He reminds me of Michael Owen, as much as. Michael Owen sort of dejects a few Liverpool fans for what he did. But that sort of player, he's got the legs on him. He's quick, gets in the right positions. Michael Owen was always good at that. So yeah, that's how I look at him. And look, I'm hoping he does have a season. I think he's a player that will come on and, he will run at players, which, I guess even someone like Sturridge used to do for us, and his injuries took his toll and it sort of didn't happen anymore. He'd come on and kind of, wait for someone to put a ball through and he'd maybe make a run. Or if he had some space, he'd drop deep and try and run and play it off and play a 1-2, where I think Bruce is going to be a player that will grab that and run forward. And take on players and be pretty aggressive, which is what Sadio Mane and so most. But from a striker's point of view, running at centre backs or running in between the lines, it's going to be good.
Yeah. So obviously a couple of good games to start out the pre-season fixtures. Obviously, we will be coming up to we got Liverpool, Dortmund, and Seville, obviously within 24 hours of each other, so that'll be a good test for fitness. Nice quick turnaround. So
Saturday and Monday for our time here. So
I was going to say, it is. 48 hours or whatever. Julian, mate, are you showing any of those games?
Yes, both actually. So 10 o'clock kickoff.
Yep.
That's the Dortmund tomorrow, and then 8 a.m. Seville.
So we're probably looking at 10 a.m. Today. To everyone who's probably going to get this, obviously, and watch it in the car.
On the way
to the cafe.
That's it. 6, 7 a.m. tomorrow morning.
Yep.
And then Monday morning. So obviously, next episode we'll come back and we'll dissect those two games, which will be good hitouts. I think Dortmund's that'd be a good game. I think.
Look, and I think.
Yeah. Sorry. Dortmund's definitely improved their squad. They brought some good talent that will want to get a run out and Dortmund's the first game at our American league, and we always want to do well when we're abroad. Playing well, playing in front of the fans. See them.
I think they played us last season, and they're the ones that beat us.
Right. Okay.
First game or second game we played.
Yeah.
So it was.
Dortmund have already had their hit out. They had one at Seattle Sounders, which they won 3-1.
Yeah.
Who would have thought?
Absolute class, actually. If you're talking about that, to Seattle.
I know what you're going to say.
Absolute class to those guys. Obviously, there was a young bloke. He would have been no more than 8.
About 8.
He's got leukemia and so forth, I believe, and they stuck him in goals for the first 30 seconds of the game. So
he started the game.
Is that where Dortmund scored their 3 goals? No,
mate, no. He it was a good gesture, very good gesture, obviously for those guys, and obviously for Dortmund for letting them obviously do it, which was good to see. But it's going to be interesting week ahead. Obviously, a few games. Obviously, you got Dortmund, Seville, Sporting, Napoli, and then Lyon to round it out. So it's going to be interesting 2 weeks, I'd say.
Mm-hmm. So that's exactly right.
Before we wrap up, anyone got any last minute things to pop out? How's everything going in Newcastle, mate? With Steve, with the venues and
look, we got some exciting stuff on the way. Danny Phibbs, our events coordinator, he's been working tirelessly to secure a nighttime option, a nighttime venue, which has been the real hard thing for everyone else listening around the country or not in New South Wales, who don't have to deal with lockout laws. It tends to really ruin us in terms of finding a place to show the games at night. Julian with his cafe for our morning games, and so that was amazing to have that and some of the
dropping out of there again, Steve. You got your Wi-Fi on, mate?
No Wi-Fi. There you go.
It was dropping.
I made sure it was off.
It must be on the aeroplane still.
Yeah, actually, we'll talk about that next one because we're wrapping. We're well over. We're well over.
Yeah.
But obviously, again, quick to everyone who isn't, as Steve said, in New South Wales. to obviously anyone in Queensland, Melbourne, Perth, or anywhere else in the in Australia. Obviously, if you guys have got a supporter group for the Reds, be sure to get in contact with one of us. We've got plenty of links down below. Obviously, we'd love to promote your stuff, and obviously any events that you guys are doing at your local pubs or anything like that on game days, and throughout the year. So be sure to
The
jump
bigger
on
the
that.
better.
Absolutely, absolutely. We're not just as I said, it is the Steel City podcast of Newcastle, but we want to promote everybody we possibly can. Every
We
Red
want to go
fan.
global.
That's it. Yeah, exactly right. So, anyway, guys, muchly appreciated. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Steve,
No worries.
Julian, and Ben.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Just getting your shirt in there. Are you, Ben? You've been pretty quiet there, mate.
Two shirts
What-
now, mate. A home and an away shirt.
What size are you, Steve? I'm
Yeah.
medium.
Yeah, medium. That's all good. Get us a couple of mediums.
3 lots
See,
of
normally
medium.
I'd say medium, but it depends on the kit manufacturer.
Right. Eh?
Yeah.
So, too easy then, guys. As I said, be sure to subscribe to the channel. It will be up on our Facebook page, on the Newcastle Reds Facebook page, Twitter as well, I believe, and you've got a
We
website.
have a Twitter.
Do we have a Twitter?
We got Twitter.
Do we have a Twitter?
Absolutely.
Yep.
We do.
Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, guys.
There we go. It's going to be all up there.
All under the same handles. Go like them, follow them, subscribe, share.
What is that handle for those that don't know?
Handle is LFC Newcastle.
What is it? LFC.
Newcastle offers. At LFC Newcastle.
There you go. So hope you guys enjoyed episode 3. We'll be back next week with episode 4, and take it easy, guys. Come on, you Reds.